What's up, guys? We're back with another Modified Rides podcast. Once again, Brandon Burrell here. This week, I got a guest on. I've been trying to get on for the last couple of years. Been busy. It's hard to catch this man to nail him down. He's always at shows, always all over the country, slinging t-shirts, merchandise, hats. You might know him as Mr. Drop 'em Wear. Today, I have John Beebe on. John's had a 30 plus year stint in this industry, probably one of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable vending trailer at shows. So it's cool to finally link up with him and check out the story behind Drop 'em Wear and how he got to where he's at today. So follow along and check out John's podcast. All right. So, like I said, this week I have Mr. Car Show T-shirt himself, John Beebe. What's up, John?
What's going on, Brandon?
I guess you've pretty much created the Car Show T-shirt brand as long as you've been in this.
Yeah, this will be my 32nd year. So,
But was there anybody before you though?
not really. I mean, I would say I was probably the first one. I mean, there was another brand out there for the imports, like the Girly Girl Racing and all that. That was about the same time, but they were in a different market,
Yeah.
whole different thing.
So those that don't know and that live under a rock, and if you're listening to this podcast, surely you know who John Beebe is. So John owns Drop 'em Wear, probably the most well-known. I wouldn't even say just a T-shirt company anymore because you do hats and beanies and
Yeah.
stickers and everything, don't you?
Oh yeah, we've merchandised ourselves out, pretty far. I mean, we do way more than t-shirts. Yeah.
Do you miss the days of just having a handful of T-shirts?
Yes. 100%. Totally jealous of some of the guys starting out. I'm like, oh God, I wish I still had a van. I could put it all in one vehicle and drive away and not tow a trailer and spend all this gas and tires and yeah.
I don't even know if yours would be considered a trailer. I mean, yours is damn near a house.
Yeah.
So we'll go through the whole progression of everything. So I guess let's start out, with you being in the automotive world. Were you into cars and trucks as a kid?
Oh, 100%. Yep. I started out had a Dodge Omni. That was pretty banging.
That's mini truckers.
Hey, it was Porsche blue. Then I had a Honda CRX.
Yeah, been there, done that.
You know all about those. Those are
Yep.
fun. And then I got rid of that for my first Mazda. So yeah, I've always been in the customizing.
So you had those cars when you were in high school?
Didn't have them in high school. When I went to college, I bought the Dodge Omni to drive to and from college.
So
So
you grew up in New York, correct?
yes, yep.
Whereabouts in New York?
Elmira Heights, it's a little small town, super tiny.
So you drove. It wasn't like you lived in the city and no one ever had cars.
No, no, no. We are upstate New York, not the city.
And are you the reason we have all this snow down here in North Carolina right now?
I believe so. Yeah, I've willed it to come down here.
So when you got into playing with cars and stuff in college, uh, were you already hitting car shows and stuff at that time?
A few here and there, yeah. Mostly local stuff. Before the internet, you really didn't know that there was other stuff going outside of your city. It was like, ooh, what's going on in my hometown? That was it.
So you knew how the whole concept of shirts and vendors and all that stuff worked.
Absolutely not.
I mean, but like from a showgoer's perspective, like you knew there was vendor row, so you were aware of that at that age.
Yeah. Yeah, my first a big show that I went to was Carlisle All Truck Nationals, and we still go to this day, 32 years later. So that's where actually it was born. That's where, and I always joke with the guys at Carlisle. I was bootlegging my first year. I didn't know. I had them selling out of the back of my truck.
Didn't know you needed a booth and
Yeah, people are like, "Oh man, I need one of those shirts." Yeah, they won't go over here to my truck, and I'd sell them. I didn't know anything. Just all right.
so you were customizing stuff in school. Well, what'd you go to college for? Because that's something that I know some people know, but not a lot of people know how you got into this whole world.
Yeah. First, I went to Mohawk Valley Community College, where I picked up a degree in advertising, design, and production, as well as photography. And then I went on to Elmira College, which is my hometown, for art education.
What was your main goal with college to get into?
I wanted to become a teacher.
Okay, so you knew from day one is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I thought I did.
So
um,
were you drawing and stuff as a kid? Is that kind of what led you that down that road?
oh yeah, yep. I drew all the time. Was a It was definitely was a passion. I always liked expressing myself on T-shirts because way back in the day, before I even got into drop and wear, I was airbrushing T-shirts.
Oh, okay.
People, you'd see it at the fair, and
Beach, yeah.
in the beach. Yeah, I was doing all sorts of stuff like that. I was doing stuff for the Bodines and all that NASCAR stuff uh,
Wow.
for those guys when I was 17, 18, 19 years old doing that stuff. They would hit me up, hey, I want this, I want that. I said, okay, I can airbrush this up. I was doing jeans, jean jackets, all
That was
sorts of
big in the
stuff.
90s.
Doing it in college as well. Um, Airbrushing stuff for just from side money.
Did you go anywhere to learn how to airbrush or you teach yourself?
Just self taught. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
picked up a gun and started winging it.
Yep. I don't even know if the magazine is still around now. It was called Airbrush Action.
I remember seeing that. Yeah, because like Craig Fraser and stuff had stuff in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, Prior to all this, 20 years later, you're like, oh, Craig Fraser, wait a minute. I remember seeing all his stuff in Airbrush Action.
But in a different world.
Yeah.
You weren't looking at it in the automotive side, you were looking at it
Yes.
as the art side.
Yep. And then, 20 years later, you meet him and you're like, unbelievable.
So looking back at some of those airbrush magazines and seeing the car stuff in it, did that push you towards more of the car world, or how did you get into doing stuff car related?
Um, as far as the t-shirts things, like I said, I always wanted to express myself on a t-shirt, whether it be something political or something just off the wall to get people to chuckle. So I just started doing the t-shirts and then incorporated, mini trucks on it because I was in a truck club and these guys wanted some stuff, and that's what it just snowballed in.
Now,
Never really
what club were you in back then?
vertically challenged.
Okay. And what did you have vehicle wise? The Mazda you mentioned?
Yep, a Mazda, white and purple Mazda. The the whole offset skated wheels, total '90s stuff.
Now, is that the one? Did it make it onto any of your shirts?
Yes, that was on the first one, and the first one a lot of people never even seen because there's maybe 24 of them out there. It was like back in the day when co-ed naked was
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, we did a co-ed naked mini trucking shirt, and the Mazda was on it. Like I said, there might have been 24 in existence.
So going back to so you went to school for art and you went to school for teaching art. And then you got into teaching, what was it, high school art?
Yes, I did elementary and high school.
Okay. In the same time or different years?
Different years, yeah.
How
Elementary is
long
a little
how
brutal.
how long were you a teacher?
Only about a year and a half before I just was like, you know what, just isn't for me. Um, the politics side of things, I just didn't
Certain
like.
things had to be done a certain way and
My my brain wasn't going to fit into that lifestyle, and I was like, no, I can't conform to that. Nope.
have any of your students from back then ever come up and bought stuff from you at shows and be like, you used to be my teacher?
No, no. Because that was in Elmira, and I haven't gone back there, very long. But yeah, I've never ran into any students like that. Um, Ran into old teachers uh, as well, later in life,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh yeah, I always knew you would do something with that."
So I remember hearing a story about, I guess, you were parked wrong or something at school in your
Oh
truck.
yeah, yeah. I drove the Mazda to school one day because I just wanted to, and
And how old? You were fresh out of college. So you were early 20s at this time?
Oh yeah, 22, 23 maybe. Parked in the teacher lot. Went into school, started teaching the class, and about second or third period, right in the middle of my class, the teacher or the principal gets on the phone and says, or on the intercom and says, "Will the owner of a white and purple Mazda lowboy parked in the teacher's lot please come to the office?" And all my kids in the class were like, "Oh, Mr. Beebe." I'm like, I don't know. So finished up class, went down there, walked in his office, and I'm like, "You call me down?" He goes, "Oh, is that your truck?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, we thought it was a student." Parked in the teacher lot. I'm like, "No, it's me."
I'm
Sorry.
sure you caught some flack from the kids for that one.
Oh yeah, they're always busting my chops. Hell, ain't kids that age will they always bust your chops. I mean, you know what? You get dressed up every day, and I was in class, and I had two different color socks on. One was navy, one was black.
It was
Kids
dark
are
when
like,
you got dressed.
"Yeah," and the kids are like, "Oh, Mr. B, you got two different color socks on." I said, "I go by thickness, not color. Sorry."
So you're expressing your artistic expression there. That's
Yeah. All you squares, you match by color. I go by thickness. Sorry. They match.
so you said you did that the short stint teaching, and then where did you go from there?
Then I moved to North Carolina in '98. Um, Decided I was like, okay, maybe I'll pick up teaching down here. And they said my starting pay was going to be $18,000. I said, "Excuse me,
In the
18,000?"
'90s, that wasn't nothing.
Yeah, I was like, I just spent 50 some thousand a year to go to college. Yeah, this ain't working. So then I started installing car stereos just to get on my feet and make money, um, and got into that and competing in that, and that snowballed into again going to more shows, more car shows, more T-shirts, um, and then finally, 2000 maybe '99 is when I said, you know what, I'm done with all this, and I have to go full time to make this happen. It
So
was me.
you'd already been doing the drop and wear thing for 4 or 5 years at that time.
Yeah, yeah, and it was minute, you know.
Side
Uh,
gig.
yeah, yeah. I had a website back then. It was lame, but it got me out there. Um, but that was in the starting of everything. You know,
Yeah.
um, the internet was there, but it was still in its infancy stage. Um, but I did have it. You still could back in the day. Uh, Fill out the catalog that I had on the back and mail it in and get your t-shirts with straight OG stuff.
Almost like you ordering popcorn from someone in school or whatever. You need three of
Oh
these
yeah,
cans and
100%. Rip the back of the catalog off, fill it out, send it in with your money. And half the time I would get cash in the mail. We're like, good lord.
so where when you started dropping wear, so you started at 94. How did you come up with the name Drop'emware?
I don't even know. Uh, I don't remember that. Yeah, like just drop them, and then the where. I was like, I'll add the where
Where?
to it. Add a question mark to it, just to like where do you want me to drop? Like everything, back in the '90s was had a sexual innuendo to it. Everything. You're talking, like I said, what was the clothing line?
Big Johnson.
Big Johnson, the
Yeah.
co-ed naked stuff. Like everybody was going down that road of that. So,
I had some questionable Big Johnson shirts back in the day.
and now you're probably like, I don't think I'd wear that.
Probably would.
Yeah.
At that point, you're just wearing a meme around, pretty much. So,
Yeah.
so, so did you have when you started doing everything in '94? Did you already have the name and the logo and everything before you started?
I had the logo.
Which I'm sure you drew it by hand.
Drew it by hand. And it's changed two or three times. '94 was a different logo. I think and I have a timeline somewhere. Might have been 96 was a different logo, and then 98 is what you see today. This logo here.
Yeah. But it all stayed pretty similar.
Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't till 98 till I got my trademark. Because I mean, trademarks are expensive.
Yeah.
It'll cost you 900, 1,000 just to attempt to have it done. And if you get denied, well, you don't get your money back. You just and we're done. You know.
And back then, you were probably thinking, I'm just going to do a few shirts. This isn't really that
Yes.
big of a deal.
Yes. And when I talked to my trademark lawyer, he said, "Oh, it's no big deal as long as you can prove that you have shipped your merchandise across state lines um, in those years." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I have shipping," and he goes, "Yeah, then we can just backdate it to '94," and that's what he did with no problem.
Yeah. Now,
Uh,
you said your first show was Carlisle, where you were just selling it out of your truck. When do you remember the first time you ever set a booth up selling stuff?
uh, man, now I'm old, man. Now I don't even remember. It's all a big blur now. I would probably say it was Carlisle um, because I went back and I had sold my Mini and bought a van and had
White
my
Astro van.
the white Astro van, and we were back at Carlisle uh, on Vendor Row with a 10 by 20 booth with a tent.
And you just had like a 10 by 10 tent back then. No logos on it, no nothing, right? It was
Nothing.
just a standard blue Walmart tent, right?
Yeah, just a easy up tent with some tables and the t-shirts and yeah, pretty basic.
I remember I ran into you, I think for the first time was probably Booger Bash.
Yeah,
I want to say that probably had to have been 95,
probably 98 or
96 maybe.
99.
Or was it that late?
Yeah, it has to be because I didn't come down here till 98, and I remember going to Booger Bash. And I was like, "What is this Booger Bash everyone's
Yeah.
talking about?"
Now, where
We
did you
went
move to North Carolina when you moved down?
Winston.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're still in the
Winston-Salem.
same general area.
Yeah, 20 miles, 20 minutes down the road. But yeah, um, and I only moved here because I was just tired of the snow. Um, the 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 wife at the time had a uncle down here that was selling mobile homes, and she wanted to get out of New York too. And he goes, "Listen, I'll give you a job selling mobile homes to get you on your feet." And I said, "If you go, I'll go. You know, you go down there now. Just pack your clothes and leave, and I'll pack the house and meet you down there." And that's
Yeah.
what we did.
So after that first year at Carlisle, so you did your first show. Is that and you had that with the Mazda? You said you had set up there, or you
Yeah.
had the Astro then?
No, the Mazda. Yeah,
Okay,
the first bootleg year was the Mazda.
and then you had the second year. You had the Astro.
Yeah, and God, it was $1,700 the vend
Wow,
back in the day. Yeah,
that seems expensive for now.
yes, and I paid it, and I was like, okay, and they were nice. They were, "We'll put you on vendor row." I'm like, man, I am small fish in the big sea here. Like, you know, all these huge semis and all that, and then you get to me, it's like, oh, a little easy up.
How many different shirts did you have back then?
Maybe a dozen.
And then probably
Yeah.
just had a handful of each size printed in that.
Yep, yep,
Now, were you
probably.
doing your printing and stuff then too, or are you subbing all that
No,
out?
we were subbing all that out. Um, and that's been the big game changer for me uh, is actually printing my own stuff and putting everything in house. It made me more in control. Um, hell, at the beginning of this interview, I could have gave my guys some art here, and they could have went out, made the screens, dried the screens, put it on the machine, printed it. By the end of this conversation, we'd have a T-shirt that I could go right over there and ship out the
Nice.
same day.
Yeah.
Um, that is the game changer for me. I don't have to wait.
And you don't have to do certain crazy quantities because you're doing it all yourself in
Yes,
house.
I had to meet some pretty big quantities to get the pricing where I needed to, and then it's a double edged sword. I'm like, now I'm sitting on a boatload, but I did get them cheaper. It was a nightmare. And you don't know. I mean, I could create something today that I thought was cool as hell, and I don't sell anything. And
Yeah.
then the next day, create something I thought was just dumb as hell, and I'll sell a bunch. So I'm like, I don't know.
Well, when did you know in those first few years that all right, this is going to take off? Let's expand the brand. Let's do, more shows, more shirts. When did you know that it was time to do that first expansion?
Um, it was probably when I went to Texas and did uh, Texas Heat Wave. When I really went out there and expanded, I was like, holy crap, there is a whole nother market here that I am not tapped into. Um, and once I went out there and got the word out there is when it started really taking off. And then, Midnight Fantasies Lakefront Tour down in Louisiana, started doing that. Slam Fest in Florida. All those shows uh, put me on the map, you know?
And you were still just doing this on the side at that point?
Yeah, yep.
Just
Crazy story. And this guy is still a friend today. Uh, I had my Astrovan was getting, we were bagging it, um, and we couldn't get it finished for Texas Heat Wave. And my buddy's dad's like, "Oh, you can just borrow my van," and it was just like a Ford Aerostar. So we're like, "Oh, okay." So we threw all the stuff in the Ford Aerostar, and that's what we drove to Texas in it to do our first show there. Yeah, to this day, still friends. I mean, didn't want a dime. Didn't, here you go, man. Here's the keys.
nice.
Just bring it back. Well, and we had a blast. But we didn't have anything custom over there. But at least
And
we're
and
selling stuff.
and seeing that early on probably made you think, all right, well, there's other people that believe in me other than myself and my family.
Yes, yeah.
So you knew you could push that further. Uh, do you do you remember seeing that growth firsthand? Like, all right, well, I'm running out of shirts, or people are demanding more stuff. Like, what was a turning point early on?
Yeah, that was it was not having enough product and really having to pay attention to because I wasn't doing it myself. Like, okay, I have to order these shirts now. It's going to take him 3 weeks to get these shirts done. Uh, and playing that game of balance to make sure that you can get to the next show to have the stuff. But and then it just started getting out of control. Where like, okay, I'm a 9 to 5 at 5 a.m. running to my house to bag and tag and fold shirts and get shirts out, and it's like then you're midnight 1 in the morning, you're like, this is too much. Like, I think there's enough meat on the bone where I could do this and not have to work a 9 to 5. And it was a struggle. I mean, it wasn't easy.
What year did you make that transition?
Two like 99 or 2000 was when I just threw in the towel, said screw it, I'm going on my own.
Yeah,
And the owner of the stereo shop, he wanted to buy in. He goes, man, I'll give you the money if you do a 50-50 partnership. And I thought about it, and then I'm like, you know what? No, I don't want a partner on this, and because I have a partner, it's in my pocket, and it's called my credit card, and I don't have to answer to nobody.
yeah,
I just pay that bill every month, and that that partner's happy, and I'm happy, and I don't owe them another thing.
yeah. If that partner
That
don't get happy, then you can't do it the next month. So,
Yes, and that's how I did it. I didn't have I could in like infancy stage. You can go to the bank; they're not going to give you any money.
yeah,
Like get out of here, kid. Yeah. I didn't have any wealthy uh, parents or family members that threw money at me to make it happen. I was like, you know what? If I spent $2,000 in blank T-shirts this month, and I snowball it in, I just pay it off. Then the next month, buy 3,000, and just keep rolling it till I built an inventory. And I hated paying interest, so I always paid it off every month. And that's how it happened. Is it the right way? Probably not. Did it work? Yeah. Could it went south? Oh yeah, in a hurry.
Was there a time early on, like after you made that leap of faith, that you're like, all right, well, this show really sucked. I couldn't sell anything. Did I make the right decision?
You know what? There probably wasn't a show out there that I did that I said maybe one or two that were like, all right, this is horrible. Every show at that moment, because no one else was doing what I was doing. So
Yeah, you were
um,
the brand from
yeah,
that time.
so people were just coming to us and spending their money. Um, were there shows that were bigger than others? Yeah. Were there smaller shows that blew my mind money wise? Then yeah, there were some small shows that I did way better at than uh, the larger shows. So sometimes bigger isn't always better. Um,
Now, when did you make the move to say, all right, well, this booth isn't going to cut it. Now I have to step up to something bigger? Because I know there for a while you had the table covers, and didn't you have your logo on your tent and everything?
I never did a logo on the tent, just on a banner wrapped around it.
That's right.
Um, it was 2001 or 2002, maybe, is when I said, you know what, I need a trailer. And I went to Trailers of the East Coast and bought a 38-foot car hauler because I'm like, well, if it doesn't work out, I can always sell a car hauler to
Yeah.
somebody. If I make a vending trailer, then I'm kind of screwed. The resale market's a little smaller than some guy wants to race his race car. He can just buy this, and that's what I bought. And I just put shelves in it, and still did the tents. Um, but yeah, that was going and trading in, actually selling my Astro van outright and going to the Ford dealer and buying a F-350.
So
I'm
that
like,
was the point you said, all right, this is the time to step up. It's go big or go home.
yes, yep, and that was just it. Like, you know what? I'm throwing everything I have at this to make it go. Everyone thought I was crazy. Like, man, you have a big ass truck. I'm like, well, it's a big ass trailer.
Yeah. A lot of product. And
Yeah, and God, I had that for 4 years. Then traded it on another one. Um,
were you still doing just t-shirts at this time?
uh, T-shirts, hats, stickers, a little bit of merchandising here and there outside of the clothing stuff, but for the most part, it was, yeah, T-shirts, hats. T-shirts, hats, and stickers was probably the first three things that I sold a ton of.
So during this time, you're focusing on the business. So you sold your custom Astro van. You don't have nothing custom you're playing with at this point, right?
Yeah, no, nothing.
That's the way
Um,
I was when I started focusing on the magazine stuff. I sold my car and just focused on growing that brand. So sometimes you have to quit playing to in
oh
order
yeah,
to
yeah,
get back to playing.
yeah. And that was the thing. I'm like, you know, I'll get mine. It'll come back around. But at this point, I have to put 100% into the business.
Now, how many of those early designs that you had are still in rotation?
Only a few, maybe six.
I know
We're
you
talking.
bring some back, like retro
Yeah,
stuff every now and then.
yeah. I'll bring some of the retro stuff, but like I like mine with no shine.
Yeah.
Although it's been altered a few times with and some people don't even notice. Um, the vehicle that's on the can of the spray paint has changed 4 or 5 times over the
Really?
years.
I never realized that.
Yeah, um, and that's just me just switching things up, and that's probably the oldest. That still plays with trucks. That's another one that's just timeless.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere USA and sell that. Doesn't even have to be a mini truck show. Um, so yeah, so there's probably like six of them that are still in rotation that are original, and I just can't kill them. It's just like, nah, it's a staple.
Now you still do all of your own artwork, correct? So every design that's out there, you've drawn it from start to finish.
Yes, yep. There's a few that I've farmed out. Uh, Other than that, farming it out wasn't lucrative enough for me. I'm like, nah. By the time I spent 400 or 500 bucks on art,
Which I guess you having that art background, that kind of made that aspect of the company easier for you.
Yes, 100%. Um, that has cut cost tremendously.
I know because any artwork I've ever had done, I guess if you did 10 new shirts a year, then that's a big chunk of money and artwork. So doing it yourself is seems like it's key.
Well, yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's definitely helped out financially for sure.
Now, when was your next big move? Because you said you had the tent for a little while with the trailer. What made you decide to make the next step?
To the vending trailer.
Yeah, because you had a
Uh,
different vending trailer before the one you have now, don't you?
nope, it's the same one. Yep, that one is I've had for 15 years, 18 years.
Wow, that long already?
Yeah, it feels
Man,
like I
where have
bought
I
it
been?
yesterday. It feels like I bought it yesterday, but yes, it is. Now it's gone through. This will be its third new wrap.
I saw you were
Uh,
trying to redo the wrap on it.
yeah, they only last so many years before
Yeah.
they get all checked up. And those vending doors, when they sit vertical or parallel to the sun, they just get toasted. Every weekend the doors are open in the peak of the day, and that sun just hits it, it just cooks them.
Now, what made you decide to step up? Because to going from a tent and a regular trailer to something big, that's a huge step to risk on that.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Age, um, my health. I trashed my shoulders putting an easy up and down every single weekend for 20 some years. It took a toll on my elbows and shoulders.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. Lifting everything out of the trailer, in the trailer, out like every night because you got to put it all away.
So don't walk
Uh,
away.
and I've left stuff out, weighted the tent down, come back the next day, and it's across the field in a ball. Like there's $1,000 for a new tent. Back in the day, now you
Yeah.
can get hell, you can get them way cheaper now with your logo on them. But back then, the Easy Up was about $900. So then I'm like, okay, I have to. This is expensive, so I'm going to tear down my tent and put it away every night because I can't afford to lose that.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, you're crazy. I said, if I told you every day you'd save yourself $1,000 and put your tent back in your trailer, would you? Well, hell yeah. Well, that's about where I was. It only took a couple times of getting it trashed before I'm like, yeah, this is getting old.
Yeah. Because then you can't work the next day because there's no
Yes,
tent.
you lose out on sales. The snowball effect. It's like, nah, it's not worth it. So I'll tear this thing down and put it away every single day.
And then what year did you switch? You said 15 years ago. So
Yeah, God, I don't know the exact year, but it was definitely a game changer to go uh, with a vending trailer.
now I know some companies, like some of the big, like Edelbrock would set a big tent or a trailer or whatever up at a show. There wasn't a lot of people vending out of vending
No,
trailers like that back then. So where did you get your inspiration to say this is the trailer I want? This is how I need it to work.
went to a NASCAR event and I was like,
Yeah, those
man,
guys do that. Yeah,
these things are the shit. Man, these
but
are
you didn't want to
awesome.
buy a rig and a NASCAR trailer.
Then I'm like, I definitely don't want to drive a rig. Oh, maybe I just need to scale this down a little bit so I can pull it with a regular truck.
I forgot the NASCAR guys had the big rigs out. I know like SEMA has their big rigs and stuff out.
Now they don't have them much anymore. NASCAR has definitely changed. You go to a NASCAR race, you went to Vendors Row. It was 2 miles long.
Oh, really?
Every race car driver had their trailer of selling merch, and of course, Dale Earnhardt's was 2 miles long to purchase anything, and you go over go over to the next guy. He's starving because there's nobody there. But yeah,
So you decided this style setup is going to be my next adventure here.
yes, yep. And I think I purchased the trailer for 68,000. Um,
Which
unwrap.
seems cheap. I've been looking at trailers lately, and that seems cheap for a trailer now.
Yeah. Well, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
yeah. I would buy one today for the same price.
Two of them if they have
Yeah.
them.
But yeah, that was unwrapped. So there's another 10 to 15 grand to wrap it. Um, and another 10 G's to outfit the inside with shelving and all that stuff. So
Because none of that came with it when you bought it.
no, no, you could, but I could, I could finish it out myself cheaper than having them finish it.
And it probably would have fit your needs a little better by you doing it
Yes.
than their
Yeah.
generic off the shelf deal.
Yes. So, and there's stuff like no one notices it in the trailer, but it does have a 6-inch drop down floor. Um, so that floor is 6 inches lower than a standard trailer. And that's just to make it a little more personable
So you're
when
not
you're
up
bet.
so high looking down on.
Yeah. I just, that's just not a good sales thing to tower down on somebody.
Do you remember how it was received the first show you took it to, and what was the first show you took it to?
First show, I believe, was, man, I'm thinking it might have been Laid Out at the Park.
Okay.
Because that was always the first show of the year, pretty much in April.
Yeah, and you
Back in the
always had
day.
that spot up at the top of the hill, that prime spot.
Yep. Um, that was probably the first go around with it.
I figured you were going to say Carlisle, and that was take it back
No,
to that.
that's always in April. So, or that's in August. So, yeah.
So the first time you worked out of that, were you like, "Yep, this was the right decision"?
Oh yeah. Like, oh, what shirt do you want? You turn around, you pull a drawer, you put it in a bag, and you hand it. I'm like, man, this is so much quicker.
What rain are you talking about? I'm not even wet today.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, is that all you got? As
But
it's coming down in buckets.
it took you how many years to get the AC working in it though?
Oh God, the AC is still. I have to take the rear unit that's in the back and have it moved to the middle because if it's behind the axles in any trailer, it will get the crap beat out of it. Any
Really?
shelf, oh, anything. That unit that's on the top goes down the road and it gets whipped around. It ripped the whole AC condenser off of its mount, pounded it through the roof, and we got to Sparks in the Ozark. We opened up and we're like, why is the floor wet? Huh. And then it started raining and it started like showering straight through the AC unit. We're like, uh-oh. So we grabbed a ladder, we went up there, and my buddy Brian hopped up on the top of the trailer, and then I just see an AC compressor hit the ground. I go, oh! He goes, dude, it pounded a hole straight through the whole roof. Beat the crap out of it for 800 and some miles that trip.
Now I know I've seen you post stuff about like when you make these trips back up to New York and stuff, having a trailer that big is an added expense that you didn't have back when you were first starting out, when you had a van or even your little trailer. That this one
Oh yeah.
costs more to get to some of these shows.
Oh yeah. We get 10 miles to the gallon pulling. But, the tolls are more expensive. The gas is more expensive. I then had to have a DOT license.
Really?
Yep, I have to be same. I have the same constraints as a DOT driver. You probably know all about that.
Oh, yeah.
You work
Well,
Pepsi.
mine was all local, so I didn't have to deal with the logs and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But I have to
So
do
are
log books.
you don't have CDLs though to drive that, do you?
Oh yeah,
You
yep.
do? Even though it's a just a dually? Is it because of the size of the trailer?
It's because of the GVWR, the rated weight of it. It's over 26,000 pounds, so that puts you in a different class.
And you knew that when you ordered the trailer?
Absolutely not. I wasn't until I got popped by a DOT officer. He said, "I think you're a little overweight." I looked at my stomach. I'm like, "Well, that's rude." He goes,
I
"No, the
only had
trailer."
one
I go,
cheeseburger.
yeah. He goes, "No, the trailer." I go, "Oh, I don't know." He goes, "I'm gonna have to get you to to go to the scales and get this thing weighed." And now in my head, I knew I was overweight. Like I was like, oh, it was coming back from Freak Show.
Or at least you're
And I,
somewhat emptier at that point then.
yeah, yeah. Now I knew I never hit the actual over limit weight. I was just over the GVWR. Like I had to have a CDL. I had to have it. And
Did he let you go home from there?
well, yeah, it was. I had to hop a flight the next day to go to SEMA. It was coming back from Freak Show. I almost didn't want to do Freak Show because of the time constraints and the flights, and I'm like, I'll just go down. I'll do it. I'll run right back. And it's time. They're like, you're gonna get stopped, and it's gonna be a whole thing. I'm like, no. And sure enough, half hour outside of that show, blue lights lights me up, pulls me over, and I sweet talked my way out of it. I was like, he goes, you don't have to know the weight of this trailer. I said, no, in North Carolina. I said, it's not on the registration. It's not a law.
Yeah.
And he's looking at the trailer. He's like, man, I think it's overweight. I said, there's no way. I said, I'm just pulling t-shirts. And I said, I'll let you look inside.
He probably thought you had cars or something in there.
Yeah, and we got out, and I showed him inside, and he looked around, and he goes, yeah, but man, I think I need to get you. I said, man, I've been driving all over the place, never had any issues, and blah 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 blah. And he goes, all right, just yeah, just get to where you're going. And at the point, I mean, he could have parked me.
Yeah.
I would have, if he would have got me to the scale, I would have been over the limit. I would have been shut down. I would have missed my flight to SEMA. I would have caught her rash of shit from the wife. But I sweet talked my way out of it. I got there, and at that point, I said, I need to go get my CDL just to stop this.
Yeah.
That was his thing. He goes, I think you're over the weight to have. You need a CDL. And I was like, no, I don't. You know?
It's a dually. Why do I need, it's a dually. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, it's just a dually.
And you're not hiring out. You're privately owned.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I don't pull for anybody else. It's all this is my stuff. And he's like, what's the GVWR of the truck? And he opened the door and he looked at it and he goes, that's 12,000 some pounds. What's in the trailer? And that's what I said. It's not on the registration. Now I know damn well it's 14,000 on the trailer. No, actually it was more. There was three 7,000 pound axles on it. So that's what, 21,000
Yeah.
there plus the 11. I'm over.
Oops.
Yeah, and at the most, if he knew anything about a trailer, they could have been 15,000 pound axles or 5,000 pound. So that would put me at 15, but still combined with the GVW of the truck, it's still over 26. So I'm like, oh please God, I hope he's horrible at math. And I got let go. But since that day, I did go to get the CDL, and it was a pain, but I
Now,
can drive it.
how big is your trailer?
38 feet.
See, I thought it was longer than that. But it's taller than most trailers, though, right?
Yes, yeah, that's the thing. It is taller. Yeah.
But it's not like a stack trailer
No,
height, though, is it?
nope, no, you wouldn't be able to. You might be able to put if you put a lift in there, put two cars in there, but it'd be tight.
I
Yeah.
could remember how it was. Now, what uh with now that we've grown to this with the trailer and all that, has there since then been a point like, all right, well, this is, well, you keep growing, so there's probably not been a point that you've been like, all right, well, it's time to change up what I'm doing to meet new needs because you still keep growing with what you have.
Yes. And people always come up to the booth. Hey, do you have this? I'm like, no, it's on the website, but I don't. They're like, oh, you should carry this. I'm like, man, there has to be a cutoff
Yeah.
of stuff. I can only carry so much, you know. And we
Now,
try to keep it fresh and rotate stuff in and out of the trailer. That there's some things you can buy at the trailer that you can't buy online. There's some things you buy online you can't buy at the trailer. So the, some people are like, "Oh man, how did that person get that?" I'm like, "Well, that was a show only piece of clothing. You had to get to the show to get that, you know."
and thinking of shows, so on that subject, you've also put on a few shows. How as a vendor at shows did you decide, all right, let me do my own show? What brought that about?
Um, Well, it was in October. I mean, at that point when we first did the show, was in October. There was nothing
Yeah.
in October. I'm like, we should put on our own show, blah blah blah, and we did, and we kept everything cheap. You know, at the end of the day, I just wanted to sell merch. You know,
Because
have a
you
car
didn't have
show.
some big venue that was charging you all this stuff to
No.
put the show on. You were just
Yeah.
using parking lots around your area.
Yes, I was using everything in my area that I had my business at, to keep it local, to promote local. Um, and right out of the gate, it was a couple hundred vehicles jammed in there.
Yeah.
Everybody liked it, but it was tight.
I know
Um,
there for a while it was, so close for SEMA for me. It was hard for me to get there. Then
yeah.
the one year they didn't do SEMA, I remember I went, and there was another year that I think that I didn't have a vehicle or something that I wound up going. I mean, awesome show. But you no longer do that one, but you do a new one now, right?
Yep. Yep. We moved it to. I always wanted to put it on in the park here, Tanglewood Park. Um, and last year was the first year we did. We're like, we really want to bring this show to a nicer place. Um, and it took off. The park is beautiful. The park is awesome to work with. Uh, Everyone really liked it. Loved the venue. I mean, everyone's like, "Wow, it's beautiful." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a mammoth park, um, and it is owned by the city." But yeah, we're excited to bring it back there again this year.
What's the dates on it this year?
This year it's going to be the first week in September, the 4th, 5th, 6th. It is Labor Day weekend. I had to move it because uh, what's the show in Tennessee? The Triple Crown of Hot Rodding.
Yeah, is the weekend after.
Yes, but what I would normally be that weekend, and I was like, you know what? I don't. Not that I'm going to take cars for that. I'm going to take. They're going to take people from it because a lot of my customers go to that show just to hang out. So I'm like, man, I don't want to compete with that size of show.
And that's on my list as well.
Yeah.
That's a definitely caliber wise. The caliber at that show is ridiculous. Like there's no other shows that can touch that really.
Oh yeah. Yep. I know people that have taken their stuff to it and they're like, I don't even know why I brought my stuff here. I'm like, this is top notch.
You got Riddler stuff just sitting off in the corner, like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So we
So
had to move it, and we moved it there. Moved it up to that weekend. Is it Labor Day?
yeah, Labor Day.
Labor Day. Yeah. It gives everyone a little extra wiggle room for travel, because they do have Monday off. Um, it should be good. I don't think there's going to be an issue. I mean, some people won't be able to make it because they have family plans, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
I
Us
didn't.
car guys though, we do car stuff on like Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
There's a Cars and Coffee in South Carolina I go to. Like that's it's just what we do. So thinking of different shows like that with Triple Crown and stuff. So you started in the quote unquote mini truck world. So when did you start branching out, and how often do you branch out to other styles of shows?
I've done good guys shows before. I got the mailman gonna pop in a second here. Nope. um, nope. I thought he was. Um, yeah, I've done good guys shows, and I show up to those, and people are like, "Man, I didn't think I'd see you here." And we hold our own there.
Really? So it just still does good even in a completely different market.
Yes.
But I guess a
Uh,
lot of those showgoers now are people our age that grew up in the mini truck world that now are
hmm
that like me. I'll be at good guy show this year because I have something I can take to them.
Yeah, exactly. They used to frown on all of us, uh, but now our age bracket is now the old guys in the scene. Yeah.
Says the gray in my beard and the gray.
Yeah. So yeah, I've done the good guys in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. I've done the one in Charlotte. Um, I've branched out and did a Volkswagen show. I got enough Volkswagen stuff, and lo and behold, those guys, even though they like Volkswagens, are still into everything else too.
Yeah, that's like mini trucks. That's kind of that crossover genre, like
Oh yeah,
the mini
yeah,
trucks and Volkswagen guys are pretty much one and the same to some degree.
Yes. Yep. I do a show down in Monroe, Georgia. It's a 1-day show, and if you don't get there at 4 a.m., you might not have a spot.
Really? What shows that?
It's called the Monroe Car Show. The most generic, making memories. The most generic thing I've ever seen, ever heard. We have done it. This will be our 4th or 5th year. I've told a couple guys about it, and they showed up. They're like, "You weren't kidding. If you aren't here at 3 or 4 in the morning, you're not getting a spot." I'm like,
Is it
yeah.
just that small of a venue with that many people?
Well, it's in downtown Monroe, which is a very, very small town,
Sounds
and
it.
they take up every parking lot, every street, every business. Like, it is just jam packed. All the local businesses are open, so the bars, the restaurants, the antique shops are all open. People mingling around. It's a good time. I think last year was over 700 cars come out to it.
Wow.
All top notch stuff, and I get the same thing. Man, I didn't expect you to be here. Why? It's a car show.
How often do you do a new event and you're like, yeah, I'm this is a one and done? Does that happen a lot?
No, things are pretty calculated out uh, in my brain to figure out the risk. If
Yeah.
it's too risky right out of the gate, I'm like, nah. I always say I can break even sitting on my couch
Yeah.
and a lot less work. But there hasn't been many that I would say that I've went to and said I wouldn't come back.
Uh, is there one show over the last 3+ decades that you're like, this has been I can't outdo what I sold at this show? Like one particular year or whatever that you completely
Oh
blew out of the
yeah,
water.
it always. And that's what at this point of my business. It's always a game with me to outsell I know what I do the previous year,
Keep
and
track
in
of
my
all that.
brain, I keep track of everything. I want to outsell what I did the previous year for my
Yeah,
own
yeah.
humor and my own growth. It's like, why not? You know, uh, God, remember the Texas heat wave? Back in the day, I'm like, I'll never sell any more than this. Then the next year, holy cow, sold more than that. And then I'll never beat that. Then the next year, I beat it again. I'm like, good grief. Yeah. Where does it stop? I don't know.
But there's not one that's been your pinnacle show in all these years.
Mini Nats is the last couple years of the foot traffic at that show is astronomical.
You can't even hardly walk by like without seeing the crowd. Like I'd go by, be like, oh, I'll stop, say hi to Beebe. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to stand here for 30 minutes waiting just to get up to the trailer, just to,
And that is the good and bad factor of it.
I mean, you're there to
It's
make money though.
well, yes, but at some point, I said to myself, do I put 2/10 at that show to lessen the blow? Because I do lose sales because people don't want to wait.
Yeah.
It, that's where my brain thinks. That's where my marketing brain thinks. I'm like, if I put one across the way, even if it's a 10 by 10, and it's going to make money over there, is it going to help me out in the end? Because I'm losing customers that don't want to wait. Because the
Or,
be backs never be back.
yeah.
They don't. It just you get caught up in doing something else, and at the end of the show, you're driving home. Oh shit! I never grabbed a shirt. It happens all the time. So that's just a little marketing thing, Like, would I, could I, and should I do it?
What's your normal show count a year that you try to stick to?
Um, I'm probably. I mean, you can see the
Yeah.
calendar back there. It's pretty chucked full. Um, God, back in the day, I was probably doing 40 shows a year, which
And
is a
there's
lot.
52 weeks a year. That's crazy.
Yes. Then you throw, okay, you got Christmas in there. Okay, you got Thanksgiving in there. A couple other holidays,
Yeah.
and it's all. I'd probably say I'm at 30 now, a strong 30, maybe a little more. I'd have to add it up on the calendar, but um, as I'm getting older, I don't put money first. A lot of people put money and trumpet over everything, and I'm like, eh. Now I'm like, no, I do want to go on vacation. I do want to go somewhere. At some point, I'd like to go to a car show and not sell a damn thing.
You'd be tweaking like a little crackhead in the
But yeah,
corner though. Like I got to sell something. Where's my tin at?
yeah, I'd hop into someone else's booth. Let me just sell something.
Now
And I do like selling things. I do like the interaction with people, and that's what's kept me going.
well, on that note, do you have something that's been a weird, like the weirdest request for some kind of shirt artwork? Like, man, you should put this on a shirt; it would sell good. And you're just like, what? Excuse me?
Yeah, oh, all the time. I mean, some of the vehicles, I'm like, huh? What vehicle? And I'm like, yeah,
Chevy Aztec.
not a request. It's
I
always
will
the
request one next time.
it's always the super old guys coming up, and I can tell they look around. They're like, oh, this dude's looking for like a '69 Mustang shirt or whatever, and then he stops and he's like, do you got an Opal shirt? I'm like, no.
My grandma's got an opal set of earrings, though.
There's a reason, man. You should. I'm like, no, no. You're the first person to request it. That's when you go to your cafe press and put your shirt or your car
Yep,
on your
Etsy.
shirt. There you go, done.
Yep. So, where do you see the growth going for drop and wear in the next, say, let's just say 5 years? I always try to find out where everybody thinks that they'd like to see themselves for the next 5 years. Because 10 years you're going to be at retirement age, so that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. And I always joked around. I said, man, I'm probably just gonna Forrest Gump y'all. Just one day, be like, I'm done selling T-shirts, and just walk away. I don't know. Just hit that wall, like I'm done here.
Because I know you said you're rewrapping the trailer, and so you're preparing for another show season. But what do you see? Do you see adding more types of merchandise or changing anything to grow, or are you just trying to stay where you're at now?
We launched our glasses the other day, the the beer can glasses. That's been a hit. I went down the road of the flannels. That's been a hit. That's a lot of growth.
Yeah,
Um, I just tallied up our growth for the year, and I was like, holy crap! In 32 years, I'm still growing.
which is
Um,
good
yes,
for
my
someone that
accountant's
was
like,
selling bootleg T-shirts out of his truck.
my accountant's like, John, just keep doing what you're doing. Uh, it's working. Don't change a damn thing and just keep plugging away. Because there's thousands of people in this world that want a business like yours and they can't do it and they fail. Uh, You got the secret and you got the science of everything. Is keep on keeping on, man.
Now you do everything, when the sub or the term in house, you technically do everything in your house, right? Well,
Yes.
shop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
We
don't have an external that you're having to pay for. It's all, which probably cuts those overheads down as well.
That's the other thing. Yes. For 10, 15 years, I was paying 2,000 a month plus rent on an office warehouse in Winston Salem, and it just hit a wall. I'm like, I'm done paying this.
Yeah.
I have paid out an absorbent amount of money, and we never got walk-in stuff. Very rarely would the door even go off, and it was a salesman or something. But
And you
no one
didn't
had
have you
ever.
didn't have a showroom per se.
No, it was just office space
Yeah.
and a warehouse space. And I said, this is just too much. I'm just going to take the money that I'm going to spend on rent, and I'm going to put a gigantic building on my own property, a 30 by 100, and be done. Like, keep it all right here. And it, it took us 2 years to pay it off. And then I was like, what's this green stuff we got left over? Like, yeah, that's the money that we were giving the landlord. You know,
Yep.
it's now in our pocket. And that's when we said, okay, now we can buy equipment. And to this day, I owe nothing. Everything you see in Drop and Wire is paid for. The truck, the trailer, the equipment, the building, all the inventory. Don't owe anybody a dime on that, on the business.
But it also
And
took you how many years to get to
yes,
that? So it's not
yes,
that's not a year one adventure to have.
no, no. And it's, I'm not going to lie. There's years I'm 10, 15 years ago skimping to on my personal, spending to
Yeah.
grow the business. Yeah, I wish I had a new car, but you know what? I need a new piece of equipment, and I'm going to buy the equipment before the car.
So
And I almost
are you 100% everything you do is in house? How much of it do you sub out for any kind of printing or any anything?
last year I totally gave up on stickers, uh, and we farm all that out. It just if you're not running one of those
Yeah.
uh, printers 24/7 or often, they get gummed up. Then
Right here.
you're spending it cleaning it. Like it's too much. It's another business in itself.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I got too much going on with this business to do more of this. I can just order the stickers and be done.
Yeah. Or
And
crazy bulk of them and stack them.
yes, yep. And that's what we do. And that's I mean, my I still have their old vinyl plotter. It still sits in the shop. Like, man, go back some OG stuff and cut some vinyl.
Yeah. So if you being an OG in this, 30 plus years of doing this, starting from the ground up, from the bootlegging out of the back to a 10 by 10 tent to now you have probably the most recognizable vendor trailer in the automotive custom automotive scene. If somebody coming up said, I want to get into a vending business for shows, whether it be shirts, stickers, hats, keychains, whatever. What suggestions or help could you give that young person trying to create what you have created?
You got to believe in yourself, and you got to be able to bet on yourself. If you can't do that, man, being an entrepreneur isn't for you. Um, it's not easy, and I hate the word grind, and I hate the word hustle. Coming from New York, the word hustle to me is I'm getting hustled out of my money. Like that's just not, and the grind is like, but it's the day in, day out regimen of working that a lot of these kids don't want to put the time in. I'm not, I can't even say kids. A lot of people don't want to put the time in. They're instant gratification. I want it now.
And if it don't happen in 6 months, they're throwing in the towel.
Yes. Um, I easily could have thrown in the towel a few times, but I stuck it out and, and got to where I am today. And it has been a tough road. It hasn't been easy. I make it look easy, but those are outsiders looking in. Anybody that has worked for me will know. And I'm not a slave driver, uh, and a mean person to work for. I just have a standard to that I want stuff done.
Business is
It's
business.
this way. This is my way. I don't care about your way. This is the way it needs to be done because this is my track record with it, and that's it.
You've proven
And most
yourself.
of the yeah, and most of the people that have worked for me, oh, I can do this and blah blah blah, and I can go on the road with you. And I said, all right, you think so? They're like, oh yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to go to car shows every weekend. A year in, they're like, yeah, yeah, I got to do some stuff with the family next weekend, and then it slowly gets to they just ghost to me, and I'm like, thought you could hang, and it's not easy. I've paid the price. My family has paid the price, but me not being around, uh, I've gotten better with that, uh, and that's things that people don't see. The constant life on the road.
Yeah, because you're working all week producing stuff and then selling it and being gone all weekend because you have a day travel back.
People are always like, "Oh, you want to go here? What are you doing next weekend?" I'm like, "Listen, I'm working." And then I'll take a Wednesday off and hit up my buddy. "Hey, man, you want?" No, I'm working. I'm like,
Yeah. The fact that I got you on a Saturday morning, I'm like, okay, that works because that never
"Yes,
happens.
no, no. Normally, I'm driving somewhere or I'm at a show or yeah."
Yeah. So I guess one of the things we hadn't talked about. So your mascot, the dude. When did the dude come about? I remember when you wanted the like reached out to have people help you name him.
Yep.
So
Now
how
he's
did that come up? Because he was in some of your early artwork, right?
yes, and he has evolved a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, the original one, uh, yeah, he was wearing a beanie and some baggy pants because that was the thing back in the '90s, the
Yeah.
baggy pants. And then it wasn't till I don't know 11 or 12 maybe is when I totally revamped him, and that was only on a. I had a buddy hit me up and goes, "Man, we have a travel hockey team or travel lacrosse team, and we want a little mascot drawn." Okay, it could be a young little punk kid. I said, "All right." So I drew it, and he was dragging his lacrosse stick. He looked evil. It looked like he was the ruffian that would just thrash the hell out of you on the field. And none of the parents were like, "No, no, we don't want that look," and blah blah. I'm like, "Well, damn, I kind of like this character. I'm gonna revamp him for me. Like, if you don't want it, I drew it, so." And changed him over to. He went from a lacrosse stick to dragging a welder, and that's when he made his debut. Uh, and the art that I did of him dragging his welder with welding gloves on and all that, and it was a hit
I remember
from
because you
there.
posted trying to get people to help you pick a name.
Yeah, and we're like, what do we call this guy? And then it came out to being Dude, which is drop where dude, DEWD. And, and I go, how cool is that? All right, he's the dude now.
That's one of the coolest trophies I've got sitting in my garage. Is one of the ones from your show that's got the dude that you actually, I guess,
The original one, yeah.
hand sculpted it and everything yourself.
Yeah, I hand sculpted that with clay, then cast it, and then poured uh, resin molds of it for. I think at the time we were doing top 75.
Something like that. Yeah.
So it's top 75, and then I did another 12 for best ofs. And man, that's a lot of work.
And it sits on the front of I have two cabinets in my garage, and I have all my trophies from all my SEMA stuff. Now the stuff from back in the day, of course, I've hauled stuff to dumpsters. Back when everybody would collect the little double post trophies that from the '90s and early 2000s. I remember making runs to the dumpster just to clear a house out because I had like 200 of them,
Oh yeah,
stupid stuff. But all my cool stuff I have sits in the garage, and it sets up on right in the front of one of my. I've had some people's like, "What is that?" I was like, what kind of dude is that?" I'm like, "It's the dude."
yeah. It's crazy that it just evolved into that, and like I said, I've morphed it. I fine tuned him a little bit here and there, but what you see today is the one that I'm 100% happy with.
Yeah, and then you integrate that into some of your merchandise and stuff. So that's cool to have the mascot be part of the everything
Yeah,
you got.
and it's not 100%. It's not everything. It's just a splash here
Yeah,
and there
yeah,
because it isn't for everybody. The old guy who comes up to the booth, he's not into that.
yeah. So, are you going to
But
start making crybaby dolls that look like that? That's the question.
no, no.
Where he's leaned up against the car with the.
Oh God! Back
I
in the
got it
day,
on
I
the
had
truck
one at the
now. That would
booth.
actually be pretty cool. Have the little dress with some Dickies, leaned up against the.
Back in the day, I
Yeah,
had one at the booth. Someone had brought it by and stuck it at the trailer and was leaned it up against the trailer. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
it's crybaby doll.
Yeah, and I was like, oh God, I thought it was a kid. And I was like, oh no, it's just a doll. What the hell? man, it was a hot rod show. So
Yep, fit right in at that point.
yes, yeah.
Well, where do people find you online? Where they find your merchandise? Where they keep up with some of the shows you're going to, and just you in general?
The website's dropandwear.com. You can always follow us on our Facebook. We do have a garage group as well. Um, we throw merchandise in there. Um, we also have a text service that and I don't know the number offhand, but if you text Drop and Wear to this number, which I don't know offhand,
Which probably on
you
the
can,
website.
yes, I think it's on the main page. If you click on if you go to dropandwear.com, it will pop up in the lower left hand corner. You type in your phone number, and you will be put on our mailing list. And I don't send them out often, but I send them out every time we do a new product release or new news, because that goes directly to everyone's pockets now. I mean, it's faster than email. It's instant. Everyone carries their phone on them.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way to stay up with us.
Okay.
Um,
Well, man, I won't keep you. I know you have very few Saturdays that you can't do nothing. It's, of course, you're like me. It's too cold to be doing anything outside today. So,
oh, it's brutal.
yep, these 65-mile-an-hour winds we have today. But I'll, I won't keep you. Let you get back to that. Let you enjoy maybe a lazy day before you get back into being gone all the time. So,
Yeah, we got like I said, Valentine's Day next weekend, and then right after that, LST. Leave on a Wednesday, come back on a Tuesday.
wow.
So that's a long trip.
And any of you guys that's not been to LST, he has the prime spot when it comes to vendor locations. So check them out there for sure. It's right. You get to see all the vehicles because they all cruise in front of you.
Yes, yeah. Every one of them, anybody that goes in that show, I get to see at some point.
Yeah. Whether it's just waving as you drive by.
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right,
some
man.
people playing their stereos super loud. Some people letting the motors just pound the ground. I see them all.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I know we've been trying to get together for a while. I'm glad we finally got to link up.
Yeah, man. My pleasure.
We'll see you at the next show.
All right. Take care, man. See ya.